Hey guys, it's Coco and I just finished playing a tournament. Come watch me change my hairstyle.
This is my poker face. I had Michael Phelps playing right next to me, put all in on the same hand and lost. So that was tough. Not going to college and just deciding.
You can't use American troops for law enforcement. You can't just send them into random cities in support of just fighting crime. Like that, you really can't.
COCO GAUFF breaks silence, slams dying in the streets, and Trump ERA crackdowns an explosive Dubai interview. Welcome back to Chatterbox, your #1 source for the stories the mainstream media is too afraid to touch. If you have been scrolling through Twitter, watching the news, or just trying to make sense of the world lately, you already know that things feel like they are spinning completely out of control. Tensions are boiling over across the United States. Protests are erupting in Minneapolis, and the gulf between everyday people and the powers pulling the strings has never felt wider or more dangerous. The country is at a flashpoint, and everyone from politicians to celebrities is being forced to pick a side, stay silent, or face the consequences of speaking up in one of the most politically charged climates in modern American history. But amidst all of that chaos, all of that noise, all of that carefully managed silence from the people with the world most to lose, one voice cut through like a laser. A voice that is young, fearless, and absolutely done with the idea that being an athlete means you hand over your humanity at the locker room door. We are talking about the tennis phenomenon, the Grand Slam champion, the Forbes cover star, and the Gen Z icon that an entire generation has claimed as their own, COCO GAUFF. While other athletes were dodging questions faster than a net cord winner, while publicists were furiously typing no comment on behalf of their carefully managed clients, COCO sat down in Dubai and dropped a truth bomb so powerful it has been reverberating through sports pages, political commentary threads, and living room debates ever since. She took on the immigration crackdowns. She spoke up for the protesters who have been killed in the streets. And she delivered a message to every single person telling her to stay in her lane that was so clear, so composed, and so utterly devastating in its logic that the critics genuinely did not know what to do with it. Buckle up, Chatterbox family, because today we are going deep into the controversy, the heartbreak, the history, and the raw, unfiltered courage of a young superstar who is risking everything to speak her truth. You absolutely do not want to miss a single second of this. Let's set the scene properly, because context is everything when a story this big breaks. It is February 2026. The Dubai Duty-Free Tennis Championships are in full swing. This tournament is usually associated with desert luxury, the glittering skyline, the immaculate courts, the global celebrity circus that descends on the U every year for a slice of world-class tennis under golden sunshine. It is supposed to be glamorous. It is supposed to be a break from the grind of the regular tour. And in previous years, the most controversial thing to come out of a Dubai press conference might have been a player complaining about the scheduling or the wind conditions on the outside courts. But 2026 is not a normal year. Not even close. Back home in the United States, the country is convulsing. The Trump administration's immigration enforcement policies have shifted from policy papers into street-level reality, and the results have been catastrophic for communities across America. Federal agents have been deployed in numbers not seen in decades. ICE operations have intensified dramatically, and the stories coming out of cities like Minneapolis have stopped being statistics and started being names. Names that have become rallying cries. Names that have been painted on banners and screamed into megaphones outside government buildings. The names Alex Preddy and Renee Nicole Good, two individuals whose deaths during a period of intensified federal immigration enforcement have ignited a new wave of civic outrage that shows absolutely no signs of dying down. Protests have erupted across Minneapolis and beyond. We are seeing city officials declare ICE-free zones within their jurisdictions. We are watching local governments use creative leverage, including blocking liquor licenses for establishments suspected of cooperating with federal raids, as a form of resistance. The civil unrest is real, it is escalating, and it is forcing every public figure in America to make a choice about where they stand. And in case anyone thought geography was going to provide a convenient excuse, the news cycle has made it absolutely clear that there is no hiding from this story. Not even if you are thousands of miles away on a perfectly maintained hard court in the United Arab Emirates. So when the media turned its spotlight on COCO GAUFF during her press availability at the Dubai tournament, the question that hung in the air was not really about tennis. Everyone in that room knew it. The reporters knew it. And COCO GAUFF, who has spent years proving she is one of the most emotionally intelligent young athletes on the planet, absolutely knew it. COCO GAUFF is not playing that game. And she articulated exactly why with a clarity that genuinely put most cable news pundits to absolute shame. She said, "But I think when you're from any country, you don't have to represent the entire values of what's going on in the leadership. I think there's a lot of people around there who believe in the things I believe in and believe in diversity and equality. So, I'm hoping as the future progresses that we can get back to those values." Read that again. You do not have to represent the entire values of what is going on in the leadership. That is a distinction that is so obvious once you hear it, and yet it is apparently revolutionary to say out loud in the current climate. The country is its people, its ideals, its history, its dreams, and COCO is telling the world that she represents that America, the America that believes in diversity and equality, even when the headlines are making it look like that America is losing the argument. It is a reclaiming of patriotism itself, ripping the concept out of the hands of those who have tried to weaponize it against anyone who dares to question authority, and returning it to its most fundamental meaning, loving your country enough to demand it be better. Now,
If the courts allow
understand
you
why this
to
particular
ultimately send in the
moment
National
is
Guard
exploding
in
the way
Chicago
it
and
is,
Portland,
you have to
do
zoom
Democrats
out
not
and
have
look at the
reason
broader landscape
to
of
be
what is
concerned
happening in the
that there are
American sports world
long-term
right now?
and
Because COCO's comments did not emerge in a vacuum. The sports community has been fracturing over these issues for weeks. You have Winter Olympians entering the conversation, figures like Chloe Kim and snowboarder Hunter Hess, who have been speaking out about the political climate and the treatment of immigrant communities. Hess, in particular, found himself on the receiving end of a social media broadside from President Donald Trump himself, who called him a loser for his public criticisms. That is the environment we are talking about. The President of the United States is going to social media to attack winter sports athletes for having political opinions. That is the temperature of this moment. On the tennis tour specifically, the contrast between the athletes who are speaking and the ones who are deliberately choosing not to could not be more stark. Taylor Fritz, the top-ranked American man on tour and one of the biggest names in the game right now, explicitly distanced himself from the conversation. He said he did not want to be a distraction. And look, you can understand that calculation. You can see the logic. The blowback is real, the social media mob is merciless, and the professional consequences of getting on the wrong side of a politically powerful administration are not imaginary. Fritz made a choice, and many athletes throughout history have made the exact same one. But COCO GAUFF is not Taylor Fritz, and she is not apologizing for the difference. When the reporters pushed her on the stick-to-sports argument, that endlessly recycled demand that athletes pretend to exist outside of the society they actually live in, she addressed it head-on with a composure that was almost unsettling in its calm. I think a lot of people on social media, on the other hand, like to say to stay out of politics, stay out of the things that are going on, she acknowledged. She was not dismissive. She was not condescending. She understood where the pushback comes from. But then she put it in perspective that is so logical it is almost impossible to argue with, and yet watch the comment sections try. You're going to be asked these things in press. People want to hear our opinion on it. Some players choose to say no comment, which is also completely in their right. I understand that. Some prefer to state their opinion. She acknowledged the autonomy of athletes like Fritz to choose their approach. this moment as proof that the tradition begun by figures like Arthur Ashe, who used his platform for AIDS awareness and anti-apartheid activism at the height of his career, and carried forward by Billie Jean King, Serena Williams, LeBron James, and so many others, is in safe and capable hands. Social media has been flooded with people calling her brave, principled, and exactly the kind of leader that sports so desperately needs right now. On the other side, the detractors have arrived with their full toolkit. The comment sections are doing what comment sections do. Just hit the ball. Keep politics out of sports. She should be grateful. She doesn't know what she's talking about. The predictability of the backlash is itself almost comforting in a grim sort of way, because it has been the exact same response that every athlete who has ever spoken truth to power has received, going back further than any of us can remember. And what is remarkable about COCO GAUFF's response to this wave of criticism is that she appears to be completely, genuinely, almost serenely unbothered by it. She acknowledged in the press conference that she gets her news primarily from social media, very much a Gen Z admission, and that she tries to do her own research and form her own informed opinions before she speaks publicly on anything. She is not shooting from the hip. She is not performing outrage. She is a thoughtful young woman who has been thinking about these issues her entire life and who has finally reached a point where the world is ready, even if it does not entirely want to be, to listen. "I never felt torn when I'm asked a question because it is relevant," she said simply. "If you're asking me, I'm going to tell you how I feel." There is something almost revolutionary in that simplicity. In an age of carefully managed celebrity personas, of social media consultants and brand strategists and crisis PR firms, of every word parsed for maximum positivity and minimum controversy, the idea that someone with COCO GAUFF's profile just tells you how she feels when you ask is practically radical. It is certainly rare, and it is, more than any forehand or backhand or Grand Slam trophy, the thing that is going to define her legacy. Let us pull back even further, because there is a bigger picture here that is genuinely important to understand. What does it mean when the face of American tennis, a sport that, let's be honest, has historically been one of the more conservative, country club, do not rock the boat corners of the sporting world, uses her platform to stand against federal immigration enforcement policies and mourn the deaths of protesters? It means the ground has shifted. It means the unwritten rules about what athletes are and are not allowed to say have been ripped up and scattered to the Dubai wind. Whether you agree with her politics or not, whether you think she should have spoken or stayed quiet, whether you fall on the left or the right or somewhere in between on every policy question she touched, you have to sit with the fundamental humanity of what she said. People should not be dying in the streets just for existing. If you cannot agree with that, then the game we are really talking about is not tennis. It is something much older, much darker, and much more consequential than anything that happens on a court. This story is absolutely far from over. The protests will continue. The political battles will intensify. The season will grind on, and COCO GAUFF will walk on to courts around the world carrying all of this with her, because that is who she is, and that is who she has always been. And Chatterbox will be right here, every step of the way, to bring you every word, every development, every twist, and every truth that the rest of the media is too comfortable to cover. Now it is your turn. We want to hear from you right now in the comments. Do you think COCO GAUFF is right to use her platform to speak out about what is happening in America? Or do you think athletes should leave politics to the politicians? Where do you stand on the contrast between her approach and the deliberate silence of players like Taylor Fritz? Is there a right answer? Or is this one of those genuinely complicated situations where reasonable people can disagree? And what do you think the long-term impact of this kind of athlete activism actually is? Does it change minds? Or does it just preach to the converted? Drop your thoughts below, because that comment section is where the real conversation happens, and we read every single one. If this video gave you something to think about, something to feel, or something to argue about at the dinner table tonight, do us a favor and smash that like button right now. It genuinely helps us keep bringing you the stories that matter. And if you are not already subscribed to Chatterbox, what are you even doing? Hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never, ever miss a drop. We are here every day, uncensored, unfiltered, and completely committed to bringing you the truth the mainstream does not want you to hear. This is Chatterbox, signing off for now. Stay loud, stay informed, stay curious, and we will see you in the next one.